Oh, let's see if my phone battery will last long enough to listen to me ramble about this beast. Alrighty, let's see if we can't adjust that a little bit. This truck's a little bit bigger than the last truck I just did a review on. Clean that off, a little less smudgy. Yeah. So this is Tinker. This is my E-Revo 2.0 in purple and orange. La, 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 la. This truck is an animal. This is going to be my review of how this truck has treated me, how I've treated it, which is not very nice, and just what my thoughts are on this truck. Starting off with the body, obviously it's got the guards, quick release, kind of quick. Let's get her out of here for a second. On the floor you go. Oh, fucker. Trail Bros RC stickers. Now the quick release is nice. I do really like that feature. The only thing is that the most damage that I've experienced is in the front right here. These will continue to spread, and once it makes it unusable, I will be getting a black body. The obvious rash on the battery trays, that's bad on both sides. And I think I've never had the body come off on me, but then again, I'm not that harsh on this truck. No complaints about this body, really nice body, super streamlined, reminds you of a very, very large Rustler 4x4. Set that aside. I would show you the transmitter, but it's just your classic Traxxas TQ. Now, the motor, let me go get the motor system. So underprepared for a video. Now, the stock motor that comes in this is the exact same motor that comes in the UDR. I have it conveniently in the motor box for this. It is a Traxxas 2200 kV, blah, 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 blah. Nothing really to write home about. Gives it a lot of, it's torquey. I mean, it was a nice motor. Every bearing that I put in it, it always had slop. So that's a thing. But now I've got censored. Beautiful, sexy censored. Wow. Hobbywing Max 8 system with 2250 kV censored fucking whatever. Got too warm, so I put a fan on it. Yay, thing sounds like a fucking jet engine now. Suspension wise, with the batteries loaded down, this truck is really heavy, like stupid heavy. You gotta carry it on your shoulders heavy, and I am a scrawny boy. So to carry this fucking thing around when you run out of battery just sucks ass. As far as upgrades, I've replaced all the bearings in the rear. All the bearings everywhere else are completely stock. As you can see, these are not the stock tires either. These are the Arma backflips for the 6S. Pillow balls, I would recommend just if you get your hands on one that's like new, just take the pillow balls out. They are not worth replacing. I ran it like 2 times after replacing the pillow balls, and all the ones in the front are fucking torn. So I don't, just get rid of the fucking pillow balls. They're not worth it. I did, however, replace the internal drive shafts just because the other ones were starting to get worn out. And if you look, the drive shafts are very easy to get to. Got a set screw through the top here. The set screw on the front can be accessed through turning a tire and getting in through the side. The ones on the bottom can be accessed through here And this little itty bitty butthole right here, you can jam a screw and driver in there and then tighten it and whatever the fuck. Suspension's very plush. My suspension is half full of oil, so you'll hear a squishy. But when you're driving over like a rough field or whatever, you'll just watch the top of that body is perfectly still and the suspension's just going fucking crazy. It's awesome. I love how this truck handles. It is vicious, even with a moderate gearing, because I like to keep my electronics nice and cool. My one big beef that everybody, if you know anything about an E-Revo or a Summit or an E-Max or a T-Max, Traxxas very, very, very rarely sets up the linkage so that it actually works properly. So what will happen is the servos will fight each other and then they'll die out, and then you have two dead servos or one servo pushing around its dead brother. So just cut out the middleman. For the price of two high-end Traxxas servos, you can get one hell of an unkillable servo. Slap it in there. I just have an old JX EcoBoost in there. It's the 35 kg. Lightning fast, even on grass, gravel, concrete, carpet. That thing just, it moves these tires no fucking issue. Fully loaded down. So you do not buy Traxxas servos. They are fucking garbage. As far as working on this truck, it is a kind of a pain in the ass. Just to get into the diffs just getting to the diffs with a drill driver is like a 5-minute ordeal. With hand tools, fucking forget about it. You're going to get carpal tunnel before you even get into those diffs. To get into the diffs, you got to remove all of this. And then you got to remove a couple screws underneath here. Then you got to remove your set screw up here. And then remove a couple of bits and bobs up here. And then maybe you can finally pull it out. And then you got to disassemble a couple other things to get up in there. It's a fucking nightmare. If you're going to blow up a diff, blow up the rear. It's a lot easier. Or just don't do it either way, because it's a pain in the ass. I was fortunate enough to have the confidence to tear it apart front to back to front. Tore everything, took out every screw that could be taken out, scrubbed it down, put it back together, because the previous owner did not treat this truck very well. So I cleaned her up, put her back together, and now that's why she looks so clean right now, because I take care of my trucks. Sometimes. The only reason that I took out the stock Traxxas system... Come out here, you fucker. The only reason I took out the stock Traxxas system is because I had one hell of a landing on her noggin, and it took the impact directly onto the ESC. And I'm already pretty weary of this ESC just because it's light. It feels like a toy. I don't trust the Traxxas electronics at all. So I went straight to Hobbywing, which a lot of people will probably... You know what, fucker? Just get back in the box. A lot of people will probably shun me for that, or think that I'm crazy for putting a Hobbywing system in this, because initially the original E-Revo had a Mamba castle system in it. That's why the original E-Revo was regarded as a monster of a vehicle, was because it came stock from the company with a Mamba monster system. And the Mamba monster system, for those of you who were there when it happened, was an insane brushless system back when Castle was the king of the hill. Back when the Mamba system came out, Hobbywing was considered a cheap, shitty Chinese brand. But now, Hobbywing and Castle are right there with, where Hobbywing, it has a lot of safety features, and they're usually a pretty good, just throw it into a majority of trucks and it'll work. But Castle is still the high output company that has the higher end bougie company. Hey guys, short edit. It is not Castle that I have issue with. It is fucking Tekin that I think is the bougie RC electronics company. If you honest to God think I'm gonna pay $220 for an 8th scale ESC, you're out of your goddamn mind. Anyways. That has like logging systems in their ESCs for speed runs and stuff like that. I'm a hobby wing guy because I don't need any of the fancy crap. I just want something that rides nice and smooth and gets me from point A to point B really fast while throwing up a bunch of dirt. That's all I care about. So if you ask me, hobby wing's good, but if you really want to follow the way of the E-Revo, put a Mamba system in it. It ain't gonna hurt none. But with that being said, if you can get your hands on one of these trucks and you want a goofy truck, I recommend it. But it is not the most durable truck. If you want durability, go for something like a Sledge or a Creighton or even like an Armagranite, as you saw in my last video that I just did a review of. This truck can be a basher if you know where to do the upgrades and if you're willing to do the upgrades. It's not the most durable truck, but it is fairly fucking durable. It's fun. It handles it's a very unique handling truck. So if you can get your hands on one of these secondhand, which a lot of guys that are like, I want an E-Revo, and then they get an E-Revo and they're like, why do I want this? I don't know. It's very narrow, not a huge footprint here, but it's a very wide truck. There's a lot of arms and stuff sticking out that can be damaged. So it's vulnerable, but it also gives it a very unique feel. And I really, really like the way that this truck drives. It's very stable at high speeds. As long as you don't corner too fast, because then the tires grip and you roll and you gotta go walking all the way across the fucking field to flip it over. Maybe that's just me. Anyways, if you have any questions about the E-Revo, just post down in the comments. And yeah, that's about all I gotta say. Love this truck. Love the way it handles. Love the power. Just fuck if this truck isn't heavy. Y'all have a good night.